Oh, bro, I'm so hyped, man. I just broke Lair. I just broke Lair of Darkness, you guys. All right, I'm coming at you guys with a whole different way to play it, where you get all the beneficial elements of the control aspect that the deck offers. You know, you get all the goodness, all the strengths that come out of it, but also by weeding out for all of the weaknesses. So what we're doing is called supplementing, circumventing for all the weaknesses that the deck had. One of the weaknesses that I disliked was how slow it is to start, and it has this strong control element where it can force decks to play at the same pace. But for me, I wanted to figure out how I can change the tempo manually, meaning that I can choose to make the deck faster because I need it to be more aggro because I want this deck to finish games faster. So I got a super spicy list for you guys. I checked first before I uploaded it. Nobody has a list like mine, and I'm very happy about that. Because whenever I come up with an idea, I want to make sure that I came up with it and it's not like, oh, somebody already beat me to it. Nobody beat me to this. So I'm very proud to present to you guys this list for Lair of Darkness. It's a new way to play the deck. It's very aggro, very consistent and fun, fast-paced, and it's going to dominate and win games really quick. So yeah, let's hop right into this list, you guys. Oh man, I'm so happy and I'm so proud to present this to you guys. So we're going to start off with 2 copies of Diabolos. I feel that it is correct to play 2 of this card. Like, seriously, it's you gotta open up with this card a lot of the times. And a lot of people will say, oh, you can search it off of Arima. Do you know how you search it off of Arima? He has to tribute a monster that's not himself. So going first, do you think it's very optimal that you're going to open up with him and then another dark and get both of them on field and then tribute it and search Diabolos? Yeah, no, I doubt it. So I really, really like just having 2 Diabolos so that I'm not drawing it too often, but I have a higher chance of drawing it versus playing it as a Saki 1-of. And when you open with it, it gets really good because then when you're resolving cards like Arima and, you know, the best card of the deck, which is Lilith, you're able to get out this beefy boss monster. But now with the way I'm playing this deck, that's the worst hand. That's the worst hand you can have is Lilith, Ties, and Diabolos. That's like the worst hand. I'm going to show you guys like some more stuff. So that's the base engine for your Lair of Darkness. You want to play 3 of everything except for Diabolos because he can really get situational because in order to summon him, you need to tribute a dark, and while that's not hard, it's like it's better to play him at 2 so you don't have brick hands. Next, we have our 1-ofs. So Skarm and Tour Guide, and then the spicy tech of the century, you guys, Doomdog Octros. People are sleeping on this card. People don't even know what this card does. Nobody even plays this card. They like Sangan. I don't like Sangan. I like Octros. Nah. Diabolos is not a level 8 fiend. You guys want to know the level 8 fiend I'm searching off of him? It's Grinder Golem. You already know what's up. It's Grinder Golem. Grinder Golem is one of the best cards you can play in this list because there are ways if you basically open a full combo, basically Grinder plus an extender, you can still use Firewall Dragon to special summon Lilith from your hand. You can Ties of the Brethren her, and then you can still do your full basic opening that you would, but you get a bigger field, a stronger field, more optimal field. You have more disruption and a more bigger monster so that you can stall your opponent, stun them out on their turn with your Sanctums, your Impermanences, and all your Virus cards, and then you can OTK them next turn. This deck is not strong. It's not strong enough to OTK by itself, so I knew that I had to implement something into it that would allow it to OTK, but not take away the natural trajectory of the deck's playstyle, meaning that this list, while it has spicy cards in it and different, kind of text, it's still Lair of Darkness and all the good stuff that comes out of that. So it's still gonna be, for the most part, played like a Lair of Darkness deck, but you just have other elements that contribute to the playstyle. And like I said, circumvent for the weakness of the deck being so slow and not being able to OTK or produce enough damage. It kind of just beat down with Diabolos and flip traps, and that's it. And that gets really boring for me. So yeah, Grinder Golem is amazing. The Doomdog Octros is not the only way to search out Grinder Golem. I have another way to search out Grinder Golem that nobody even knows about. I did the research. Nobody even plays the card that I'm going to showcase next. But when you do Lilith plus Ties, you can bring out Octros and you can bring out Skarm. Now, Skarm's going to search your Tour Guide automatically, so that's one card in your hand. So you've already replaced one of your cards. And then Lilith will trigger Octros. And then you're going to set traps, so that's 2 cards, so that's broke even. Octros will resolve because it's sent from the field to the grave. And you're going to grab your Grinder Golem. So now you went +1 because you already got 2 of your cards back. This got the the tour guide, Lilith will sack this off, get a trap, and then Octoross will grab this. So with the 2-card combo of just Lilith and ties, you actually go +1. And for me, it's more than just +1 because you got the trap, you got the Lilith, you got all your cards back in hand. And then Grinder, you have a follow-up. A follow-up. Bro, do I not preach so much about follow-ups? It's so important that no matter how strong the board is that you set up, that you get a follow-up. If you want to play competitive, you really just got to remember this. People don't preach this enough. Yu-Gi-Tubers, well, there's a lot of great Yu-Gi-Tubers, and almost all of them are better than me. Like, honestly, I'm a trash Yu-Gi-Tuber. I'm okay. I'm, like, below average. But one thing that they're not good at is preaching, like, a lot of things that you really need to know about playing the game. I like to enlighten my subscribers, and one thing I preach heavily on is follow-ups, you guys. No board is unbreakable. A Yu-Gi-Tuber will tell you, nah, once you resolve this, you win. Your board's unbreakable. You don't need to worry about that. I'll tell you, let's be realistic. There's no board that can't be broken because there's a yin and yang in this game. There's always interactions and cards that are meant to specifically counter other cards. So because your board is not going to be unbreakable, the ultimate follow-up is Grinder Golem, and it's going to get even better. Then we also have the Scythe, so that's going to conclude all the monsters. Now we're going to move to the spells. Now the best spell in the deck is Magical Contract Door. I'm going to explain to you guys what this card does because people sleep on it and nobody even plays it. It's never been popular, and people need to experiment more with this card. The first time I played this in a really good deck was when I played it in my Fiend deck. If you guys look up on my channel, Jank Day, Jankday, Jank Day Fiend Turbo deck, you guys will find my Fiend deck. I had a 60-card Fiend deck, and I played 3 of this because I was trying to search Dark Arm Dragon and Orbital Hydra Lander. What this card does is it searches any level 7 or 8 Dark monster from your deck to your hand. But in order to resolve this card, you have to take one spell from your hand and give it to your opponent. So the benefit is playing this card and a card like this in this kind of deck, you have a lot of spells that your opponent can't use. Like, I would never give them a Terraforming, but I would give them a Lair. I would give them a Dead Ties. And, you know, like, those are really the cards that I would like to give them. Or sometimes I give them the extra copy of this. So, yeah, like, you got to be careful what you give them, but also keep in mind how powerful Grinder Golem actually is and the fact that you can search them. It's a cost that I'm definitely willing to pay. So, yeah, triple Magical Contract Door. You can be a little cheesy, and you can play spells in your build that you know for a fact they can't, like, use at all. And there are some spells that are actually bad for them to have in their hands, so you can complement this with a lot of other things. But ultimately, this plus a spell is a 2-card combo for your Grinder Golem. Grinder Golem is a 1-card combo if you sack with it, but I wanted consistent ways to search it. So this is a way to search Grinder Golem. Lilith plus Ties of the Brethren is another way to search Grinder Golem. So yeah, really consistent ways to get to Grinder Golem. Next up, we have 5 Lairs. Lair's too important to me. Let me go ahead and check the time real quick. I want to make sure that this profile is not too long. Oh, yeah, we're good. I don't even know why I'm worried, you guys. I don't know why. I just wanted to make sure the profile is not too long. So I feel that Lair is the next most important card in this build. The main reason why this deck even is competitive is because of this field spell right here, which is Lair of Darkness. It gives you interactions that most decks can't even have. The ability to tribute your opponent's monsters for cost, being that basically, even if they respond to the card you're using, it's tributing for cost. So you just have to visualize it like this. No matter what, their monster has to go because a cost has to be paid. That's a mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh! Even if a card gets negated, a cost has to still be paid even if the card didn't resolve. So the fact that I have to tribute your monster, I have no choice, like, that's just broken. Like, if I say, oh, I activate my virus, and they're like, I negate it, but I'm like, I have to tribute your monster, though. So, yeah, I have to get rid of that. I'm sorry, bro. And, you know, also the benefit is cards that are unaffected by card effects are not unaffected by cost. Did you guys know that attributing for cost can get over a monster that's unaffected by card effects because you're not getting rid of him by a cost. You're getting rid of him by a basic mechanic that's a fulfillment of any kind of card that has a cost. Just food for thought. Masterpiece might be unaffected by traps, for example, but he's not unaffected by cost. So you guys have to just keep that in your mind. A cost is a cost. It's not a card effect. That's why a Dark World can be discarded by a card effect and resolve its effect. But then if it's discarded by a cost, it won't, because a cost is not a card effect. And there's no card in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That says this card is unaffected by cost. So Lair is just broken. Yes, I'm playing 2 Terraformers and the Arimas because it's Lair or bust sometimes. Sometimes it's really like that, like Lair or bust. You got to see Lair. Next up, I have Triple Ties of the Brethren. It's one of the best starters in the deck. It really is. It does a lot of work for you. You got to see your Lilith and your ties. That's your 2-card combo that generates a lot of advantage. It's a +1. And then you have triple allure. I need to filter my hands. I need to get some of the clumpy, cloggy, extra copies of the cards that I don't need. And there are specific cards that I need to draw in this deck, like ties, like Lair, like Magical Contract Door, like Lilith, like Diablos, Arima. You know, I gotta see my cards, man. And because this list plays so many one-offs, especially like Grinder Golem, I can't afford to play Pot of Desire. So I just needed another card that says draw 2. It might not be a +1, but heck, it still draws 2. Next up, my 4 extenders. Now, here's how I categorize these cards. These cards are all literally just the same thing. I don't soul charge for 2 and 3. I normally just soul charge for 1. That's just how I play it. So you know how I look at this? It's like, this is like when you get to play a card in your deck, but you get to play 4 copies of it. So for me, this is like breaking the rules right now, because all I need is one of these plus my Magical Contract, and my Grinder Golem can now become a firewall that gets his effect to special summon from hand, which can get out your Lilith, you know, and that just extends your whole combo. It extends your whole board. So that's why I felt 3 wasn't enough, because 3 of these, somebody would comment and say, oh, but those are one-offs, you never draw them. But you have to change your mindset. These are one-offs, right? But do they not do the same thing? So I just turn these over and I say these are the same cards. So this is a whole nother 3 of. So this is like basically playing Monster Reborn at 3. So I have just as much a chance to draw any of these extenders that I do have of drawing a Tides of the Brethren. Why? Because this is 3 of the same card, but now I have 4. So I have a higher chance to draw any of these than I do of drawing this. And not saying I have a higher chance of drawing specifically Monster Reborn. I have a higher chance of drawing any one of these than I do of any of my 3 of, because this is how I think of it in my mind. This is 4 of the same card. So yeah, you got to play it. Because if you have your Grinder Golem and this, yeah, you're going to go bananas. And I've never got to fully extra link, but I did have a board where I had a link here, and the link here. And that's like a L instead of a U. And on turn 2, after, because my board wasn't broken, I just basically just sank them and psyched them. And then I dark lighted all the rest of the monsters. Crazy blew up his field. I finished my extra link. It was crazy. So yeah, you can do that. It's really, really strong. Because normally once I get to that point, I'll use Firewall and bounce my Grinder Golem. And then if I know that I can't keep going, like if I don't have enough extenders, or if I know that I can't do the full U-Link, I'll keep Grinder Golem in my hand and then do him next turn and then finish the play, which is really strong. So like if I could get 2 bounces off Firewall, then I'll bounce his self and Grinder so I can do the full combo all over again. Get out Firewall, bounce the Grinder, and then just keep looping it. It's crazy. For our traps, we have 3 infinite impermanents. You see that I didn't play hand traps in the main because impermanence I feel is the perfect hand trap for this kind of list, because this deck loves traps, and this is still a hand trap. So like you could draw it going first and it's okay, and then going second it's like not once per turn, whereas Ghost Bell, Ash Blossom, Ghost Ogre, you know, other cards like that, the best hand traps and Winter Trays are like once per turn. So this is one you could draw multiples of. And this plays around Azathoth in the FTK. You could just impermanence Firewall and it'll be okay. So I feel like it's just one of the best. It's like top 3 in the hand traps, and it's perfect for this deck because it's still a Lilith target, and you could still just draw it going first and it's going to be okay. Then we have Triple Sanctum. It's insane. You know, it's just really strong. I don't have Trap Trick, so if you're going to ask, I don't have it. That's the answer to that question. And then we have Triple Dark Light, my favorite trap in this list. Oh boy, people are underestimating this card. They're sleeping on this card, boys. They really are, you guys. Like, I see the list, like, I was, because whenever I feel like I'm onto something, right? Like, you guys know me. If you know me, if you follow my channel, you should know this about me. Whenever I feel like I'm onto something, I will do the research to see if I really am, like, about to innovate something. And if I find that, oh yeah, they're already onto it, then I'll be like, dang, I thought I had something. But it's like they already knew about it. But a lot of people really are sleeping on this card. It's powerful. What it does is it tributes a dark monster with 1500 or more attack, and then destroys all monsters that were special this turn. And you just do it on your opponent's turn. So you go first with this. This is crazy because like this is like having the Link monster for the Print Kids. This is like having a Nunchu. This is like having Topologic Bomber Dragon. You basically Raigeki them. But the beauty of it is, if you have multiples, you can resolve it because the first time, you're going to tribute their monster for cost. So let's say they have a monster that can negate the activation of this trap. You can use this trap to tribute that monster for cost, and they can no longer negate it. So basically, if you have this in Lair, your opponent can't use a monster to negate it Because the monster that would negate it, you just tribute that for cost. And because you have to pay cost first, before you can even resolve it, they can't negate it at that point. Cost has to be paid. So it's pretty broken. It's pretty broken. And then you can nuke their board. And the reason why you can activate a second is because you could tribute your own monster and then nuke their board again if you really need it. But basically, what I'm trying to do with this deck is I'm trying to set up a powerful turn 1 board. And then I need to use my traps to guarantee that I can keep my opponent's board clear. I don't want 1-for-1 exchanges like Ballista Squad, Compulsory Activation Device, Ring of Destruction. Cards like that, like 1-for-1 exchanges are just not optimal for this build because I'm trying to keep their board clear, and I can't do it with 1-for-1. So this is like a 1-for-5. This card just automatically keeps their board clear, and Permanence just falls in the category of a hand trap. So it is a 1-for-1 exchange, but it's really just the hand trap that I'm playing in the deck. And then I play every virus card because none of them are 1-for-1s, and normally resolving multiple viruses will just beat any deck. Like, especially, like, for example, this is my mindset with the viruses. These 3 right here. These are 3 of the same card. Just like how I felt about the Reborn cards. These are 3 of the same exact card. So, I have a high chance of drawing any one of these because they're 1-ofs, right? But it doesn't matter if I draw this, or this. This is still 3 of the same card. It's 3 viruses. Just, you guys really got to understand my mindset. So if I draw any one of these, I'm straight because I can use my Yugioh to mill the other one and then use Griffin to reset it off of my full combo. And then this other one or any of these can be searched off of Lilith. So I can open, basically by opening with 1 virus, I can get 3 because every turn when I have the full combo, I can get 2 viruses. But if I just open one of them, and I prefer one of these 3 because they're like the best ones, I can have 3 viruses, you guys. 3 viruses. And thanks to a card like Firewall, Dragon, and Ties of the Brethren, I can have one of these tribute one of my opponent's monsters, and the other ones, whichever fit the criteria of their resolution and cost, I can resolve 3 viruses in the same turn by tributing 2 of my own monsters and 1 of my opponent's monster. And you put them under 3 viruses, you're going to win the duel because they can't play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! For 3 turns. And you just have free reign. Like, legit. Especially this one. This is, like, the best against Sky Strikers and Altergeist and Dracos and all those trash decks. And then these are really good. And, you know, some people are really sleeping on Full Force, too. Because they're like, oh, Links don't have defense. But I'm like, this is my counter-argument. I say, don't you need to summon monsters that have defense to go into Link monsters? So I'm just going to flip this whenever you get a spam the field before you have a chance to go into Link monsters. Because a lot of Link monsters are linked too. So bare minimum, you summon 2 monsters, I'm going to full force, blow your field up, and then you're under full force for 3 turns. This is insane. It's really, really skillful, really competitive. And another one of my favorite viruses is Grinning. People say this card's bad. You know why? Because they don't finish reading the card. The first sentence is arguable, you know, because they can just destroy monsters in their deck instead. But also keep in mind that graveyard effects don't resolve anyway. So if it's like BAs, it's not like they give themselves free pluses. It's just they ensure that they don't minus from their hand. But also keep in mind that it has a second effect. That if you tributed a monster with 2,000 or more attack, every monster in your opponent's hand and every monster that they draw for the next 3 turns gets destroyed and no graveyard effects resolve. So this card literally just hand loops them. It rapes their whole hand. It's pretty strong. So I like it. You know, you don't have to like it, but I like it. So it's in my list. So yep, that's the main. Really awesome. Love the deck. This is the best way that you can play Lair. There's no better way in my personal opinion. So it's not a fact, it's an opinion. And I believe in this deck. I really do. So next up, we have Firewall, Griffin, Summon Sword, and Yugioh. The 4 most important Link monsters for all of your combos because these give your combo with Grinder Golem and an Extender flexibility. Because you can just do Firewall, bounce Grinder, and keep it pushing and extend more. Or you can just do Grinder just at one time. And you can do the full combo where you go Yugioh, mill any virus trap you want because it sends any card if you didn't know. If you mill another trap, that's amazing. And then you link into Griffin. And yeah, Griffin's going to be like this, so they will get a zone that they can use off of Griffin. But who cares? You're just setting another trap. You have double viruses. They're just going to die. Especially if you have like Eradicator plus like Crush card or Deck Devi. It's just so good. So broken. And then, you know, Griffin's still a strong card. But also another interaction with just Grinder Golem alone, just the 1-card combo. If you just open Grinder Golem or Magical Contract Door, your Grinder Golem can go into Summon Sword. People don't, because Reproducus, you can go into Summon Sword, use her effect, target Grinder Golem. What is he? A Dark Fiend, right? So what do you summon from your deck? Lilith. Even if her effects are negated, she could tribute herself for cost. That's why you could Tour Guide Lilith, and her effect tributes for cost, even if her effect's negated. It's ruled that way. So you can summon her off of Summon Sword, tribute her, and still get traps. It's broken. So Grinder Golem searches traps. And the awesome thing too is if you summon Lilith and you have ties, now you can ties of the brethren your Lilith. And it gets even more insane. Your board is so good. So yeah, you guys have to try this list out. It's just so explosive, and like the Lair deck is just so slow and so dull, just paint drying, and there's no real combos and there's no super aggressive interactions. It's just like flip a trap, tribute your this, and then do this, and then oh, I summoned Diablos, and it's just so slow. It has to like out-resource you. But the way I want to play this deck, I want to steamroll you and out-resource you and have you dead by turn 2. Unicorn, another interaction with Unicorn is when you're finished one combo and you can't do the full, you use Unicorn and you bounce Grinder Golem back to your deck, and then you search him, and then you can special him again because he's not once per turn. So I like Unicorn. Unicorn's only good when you have the hands where you have 2 ways to search Grinder, because you could do your full combo off of Grinder the first time, you bounce them and you summon them twice, and then you end up using Unicorn to put him back into your deck, and then you use your other card that can search him, and then you special him again, and then you could just keep going, and then that's when you can U-Link. So if you open 2 ways to go to Grinder Golem, even though he's at 1, you could just put him back, search him again, then you could do a U-Link. You could extra link with that. Then we have Double Service. We have 1 Phoenix, just really, really strong cards. Then we have Akashic Magician, super pivotal. Akashic is so important, you guys. You have to play Akashic for your Grinder Golem combos. Reproducus, so that you can turn anything into a Summon Sword, even if all 3 of them are not the same. 2 of them go to Repo. Repo targets the other, then you go to Summon Sword. So yeah, this is my homie right here. Underclock, because to make Curios, you need to use this and then another dark, like Link Repo, or Akashic, and then you use one of your Dark Fiends and go into Curios. But it's really easy to do. And then triple Link Spider. I can't find my other links, so I'm proxying 2 of them. But yeah, triple Link Spider. It comes up way too much, you guys. Way too much. Like, seriously, you got to play 3. For real, for real. And then 1 Link Karibo. And because these are both Cybers, like, the first time you Grinder Golem, you just do these. And then you link these into Akashic. You bounce your Grinder Golem back. And then you tribute one of the tokens, summon Link here, and then you do Link Spider there. And that's how already, that's a Boros Sword. If you want, I don't have Boros Sword, so I don't play because I don't have it. But that's already a Boros Sword. So, like, it's like this deck can be really aggressive just for the fact that it can search out Grinder, and that's a 1-card Boros Sword. So you can end games in just off of that. And Lair of Darkness Pure can't really go into Grinder Golem consistently. So, I mean, can't go into Boros Sword consistently. So even if you don't want to do combos like loops with Summon Sork or Firewall, if you just want to get plain and simple in the duel, Grinder Golem's a 1-card Boros Sword, and you could just end the game just off of that. It's insane, like, legitimately. Because you don't have to turn your own monster to defense. You could turn their other monster to defense, attack again, and just game them. Boros Sword is just so devastating, you guys. So, like, you can even just go into Boros Sword or Borreload. But if you have the extender, that's when you just, at this point, when you have the extender, if you had the extender, then before you turn the token in Link Spider, you would, do your Reborn card, and then bring this guy back, and then go Link Spider, and then you can do your full combo from there. It's just really, really strong. It's an awesome deck. I mean, Boros Turbo, I mean, if you want to call it that, like, it's just, the deck is just so awesome. Like, it really is, you guys. You have to try it out. For real. Anybody that plays Lair, this is the list for you. Man, I be working for you guys, bro. I be trying to figure out how to make decks that are decent, better, and how to make bad decks good, and how to make rogue decks, like, optimal, you know? I really try my hardest to just bring the underdog decks to the spotlight. I appreciate you guys for all the love and support that you show to this channel. I really hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to me talk about cardboard. I love you guys. God bless you. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. You folks have a beautiful day, okay? Peace and stay positive.